Good evening. You guys, I had a wardrobe malfunction. I do apologize for my tardiness. Okay. Um, when you in your fitness journey and you're in denial about your clothes, and I was trying to come on here with this top, and I'm like, it's kind of big. So I had to go put a bra on. Otherwise, I would have just been, all over the place. But the last time I wore this top, I didn't need no bra. So I don't know. So let me go ahead and wear this while I can. Um, but I wanted to talk about this whole fatherless homes crisis in America conversation. And I've been wanting to talk about it for a while now because so many people that are giving their opinions on this tend to want to blame and shame single mothers, which I find to be weird. So, um, I haven't seen anyone that actually had parents speak on this that actually grew up in a two-parent household. No shade, but I just noticed how I just don't see um, anyone in the space with parents that are talking about this. So I thought I would give my opinion. Thank you guys for the compliments. I really do appreciate it. This top is from Boohoo. This top is from Boohoo. So let me go ahead and get into my intro. My parents are still together, you guys. Most marriages don't survive raising children. Typically, people's parents divorce after their kids graduate college or after their kids graduate high school. It's pretty common when it comes to two-parent households. So there's some things that I want to give my opinion on regarding this topic because, like I said, most marriages don't even survive children. But my parents are still together. I think they've been together for 30 something years. So let's get into it.
Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss. I haven't done anything for you to be proud of.
Of course you have. You are marrying a man who can support you.
Okay, we are back. So this video was actually recommended to me by a Black manosphere supporter. I don't know. It was by a man, y'all. And he wanted my opinion on it. So I'm like, okay, I'll give you my opinion, but a lot of y'all not gonna like it. So I was introduced to this man. His name is Patrick Bet David. And I was introduced to his YouTube channel, which is called Valuetainment. I think that's how you say it. Let me double check. Let me double check. Yeah, Valuetainment. And so he talks about this crisis that's going on in America. I only think it's a crisis because Black men are out here dating outside of their race. And it's normal now. I think it's turned into an American crisis because they are able to freely explore. And for whatever reason, in 2023, we have a crisis here in America where 23%, or no, I'm sorry, 21% of children. No, it's 23. It's 23% of American children are born in the US without a father. So let's talk about it. You know, the white men only care when it starts to, it get out of hand. Y'all know what I'm talking about. White men only care when it starts to get out of hand. Now they care because it's like, okay, these numbers are increasing pretty rapidly. We all know that when it comes to interracial relationships, particularly with Black men and white women, they don't stay together. So a lot of their children tend to be abandoned. Y'all know those numbers are pretty high, but no one wants to talk about that. Nobody ever wants to talk about those numbers ever. I'm gonna try to see if I can find a video on it, because the Angry Biracial on TikTok, I'll be following him on TikTok. He talks about it all the time. So if you know about his story, he's called the Angry Biracial on TikTok. If you know about his story, about his mother and things like that, that's why he's so passionate about these type of topics and conversations, especially when it pertains to Black men and white women. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Because let's talk about it. Now, I'm not going to lie, y'all. Outside of Black men, these white men leaving these women single mothers too. Okay, we can get into that too. Some in the milk, or some in the water, some in the food, some. But don't get it twisted. Don't think you exempt from becoming a single mother just because you don't date a Black man, because these white men are leaving these women single mothers too. So just had to throw that out there. But we know who the majority are, though. Okay, we not dumb. We know who the majority are. But white men are out here doing the same thing. It's becoming cultural. So let me blow this up.
I have some disturbing stats I want to share with you about fatherless homes. And by the way, some of the stats, I've seen this before. I'm going to tell you, when you read some of these stats, you're going to sit there and say, that is insane. By the way, these stats are from 2021 of the impact a father makes in a child upbringing, both a girl and a boy. Like I said, disturbing, but you will be shell-shocked with the stats. If you get value from the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let me get right into it. The U.S. has the highest rate of children living in a single-parent household of any nation in the world. About 80% of single-parent homes are led by single mothers, at a rate of 23% of children living with one parent and no other adult. The United States stands over 3 times the world average of 7% of children raised by one parent. For reference, the number stands at 3% in China, 4% in India. This is not an area we want to be competing with other countries, by the way. If there is a statistic to not be competing in, this is one of the statistics. China's at 3, India's at 4, the world's at 7. We're at 23% in America. 0 bragging rights. This is the stat everybody wants to hide. And this is the stats where the side effects of this, we ain't going to see for 2 decades or 3 decades or longer. Takes a while to see the side effects. Let me continue.
The Black community is already seeing the side effects. We don't need 2 more decades of what we already know, Black women. We already know what it's like. We already know what it's like when it comes to generations and generations of children being raised in fatherless homes. So it doesn't make sense to keep rebirthing and reproducing a fatherless culture. Just doesn't make sense to me. But I just had to put that out there, because I always tell people, Black people are the most influential group of people that I have ever met in my entire life. So typically when we do it, people copy. And unfortunately, people are copying the toxic and dysfunctional parts of our culture, and they're no longer just copying the entertainment sector of our culture. So it's in the music that they listen to. It's in even some of these spaces online when it comes to red pill and how they like to pump and dump and discard. So it's not shocking to me that these numbers are climbing, they're increasing, they're multiplying. It's not shocking to me at all. It's not. So everyone tends to watch what we do and in some cases copy if they find it to be cool or something like that.
Continue. Even for children with a father present in the home, the average school-age boy only spends about 30 minutes per week with one-on-one conversations with his father. For comparison, the same boy on average will spend about 44 hours a week watching television, playing video games, and surfing the internet. In our house, there is no video games throughout the week. It's on the weekends. After you read 150 pages throughout the week, then you have the right to play video games for an hour or two on the weekend. And that's what you have to earn. You have to move your body. You have to exercise. There's certain things you need to do to get to that point. That's our household. But the stat tells you 44 hours a week of watching TV, playing video games, and surfing the internet. Let me continue. 90% of all homeless and runaway children, 63% of teen suicides, 85% of children and teens with behavior disorders come from fatherless homes. Let me read that stat to you one more time. 90% of all homeless and runaway children, 63% of all teen suicide, 85% of children and teen with behavioral disorder come from fatherless homes. That is a very, very big number. Next, fatherlessness likewise has a direct link to teen pregnancy and sexual activity. Roughly 70% of teenage pregnancies come from women raised in a fatherless home. 70% of teenage pregnancies comes from fatherless homes. 70%. That's a big number. And these same women.
Now, I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about this real bad. I want to talk about this because I got to be honest with y'all. When women are not raised without fathers, this statistic is not shocking to me because growing up, I had a group of friends. And out of the group of friends, there's about, I would say, 12 to 15 of us. Out of the group of friends, we were all Black. I want to say 4, maybe 5 of us had dads in the home. And when you grow up in a group like this, you know, parents have different rules. And one thing that I could honestly see in my friends was the fact that they had a lot of freedom. They could come and go. They could do as they please. They could miss their curfew. I couldn't. If I came up in my parents' house after curfew, my dad was waiting for me, sitting at the door, waiting for me, mad as hell, wondering where I'm at. If he wasn't blowing up my phone, he was definitely waiting for me to come inside and get inside the door. So there was just a lot of stuff I personally could not get away with because authority and consequences were waiting for me when I got home. So there was this huge disconnect between me and some of my friends. They would always say, "Oh my God, your dad is so controlling. Oh my God, your dad, he is so like uptight. Oh my God, and so I would always be seen as the uncool one because a lot of times I couldn't just come and go and do as I please. And I couldn't just hang out anywhere and be anywhere, anytime, or with anybody. There was rules that I had to abide by in the household that I came from, but it was very evidently clear that some of my friends, they could come and go because either their mom was always at work, their mom was out herself, their mom was either in bed because she had been working, or their mom just didn't care. It just depends. Also, another thing that I want to talk about is it's easy to manipulate your mother. It's harder to manipulate your father. What do I mean by that? A lot of times when you grow up in a 2-parent household, you know most likely, and it's just this natural thing, you know most likely you'll be able to get your way with your mother, but your daddy not having it. So a lot of times you go to your mother and be like, "Hey mom, can I go do this? Can I go to the movies with my friends?" And then she gonna say, "Go ask your daddy." And then you already know. Sometimes before you even go ask your daddy, you already know the answer. So yeah, like there is a huge chunk of structure that is missing when a dad is not in the home. But it's not just a dad being in the home, it's a dad being active. It's called fatherhood. So a lot of men think, oh, because they're in the home, that's enough. No, if you're not actually creating structure, if you're not enforcing authority in a way where there are rules that need to be followed, that keeps the structure, you're just there, you're not being a father. So it's more than fathers just not being in the home. It's actually men being fathers to their children, not babysitters, not sit-ins, or they actually are fathering their children. There's a difference. Some of these men think watching their own kids is babysitting, and I think that's weird. Or they try to push off all the responsibility on the woman. My dad, he cooked, he cleaned, he took us to school, he got us ready for school, and he made sure, in some cases, he even did my hair. A lot of you men today don't know nothing about that. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Y'all don't. Y'all think having kids and being a father is just basically just being there. That's it. That is it. Just being there. That's not enough. That is not enough. So not only that, my dad also got me into sports very young, 5 years old. And he straight up told me, he said, "I don't want you to be boy crazy." That's what he said. So he was like, "I don't want you to be sick. I don't want you to be pregnant at 16. I don't want you to be boy crazy. So I'm going to put you in sports. I'm going to ensure that you're busy constantly." So in the wintertime, I played basketball. In the summertime, I either did AAU or I did track. But I always had to be active in something. He never let me just sit around the house and do nothing. So there was always something that I had to do. And again, that creates structure. But if you are not giving, if fathers are not showing up for their children, because I feel like this can still be done even if the father is not in the home. I do. It's a matter of if a man is being hands-on or not. So a lot of these men don't even know how to groom their children, let alone raise them. So I don't know.
Have significantly higher abortion rates than women raised by both a father and a mother. On the whole, fatherless kids are 20 times more likely to be incarcerated and 11 times more likely to exhibit violent behavior than children from two-parent household. 20 times more, okay? 20 times more. If a man and a wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same chances as children raised by just their father. You may already be blown away by the stats before, so maybe come back and let me read this to you and brace for impact if you missed it.
Also, when it comes to my brothers, same thing, y'all. My brothers couldn't just, I mean, as they got older, I felt like they had more freedom than I did, but they still didn't have the same amount of freedom that their friends had. So they couldn't come and go. I do feel like my older brother had a little more freedom, but me and my younger sibling, not much. Well, my younger brother, he a little different, y'all. He antisocial, but my older brother, I felt like he could do way more, but he got in trouble a lot too. So, I mean, he got more ass whoopings than than any other person that I've ever seen or met. And he didn't get like what he stopped getting whoopings with the belts. You know, eventually it was fists. It was whatever my dad could pick up and basically, you know, throw at them, toss at them, beat them with, you know, after a while, they stopped using the belt altogether. So, you know, but my brother, he's never been in legal trouble though, you know, so I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I don't know. My parents also lectured us a lot. Oh my God, lectures. Just lectures after lectures after lectures. And it's just like, okay, we get it. But I have to say, I have to admit, I still remember those lectures till this day. I still remember those lectures. So this is my thing. We look at the stats. So what are we gonna do about it? Most Black kids are abused when they're kids by their parents. They beaten. We're not about to sit up here and pretend like we wasn't out here getting our asses beat. A lot of us got our asses beat. I got hit with extension cords, tree branches, and all type of stuff. Fly swatters, wired ones, plastic ones, wooden ones, shoes tossed. I mean, I know we're in the new age, but back then that was the norm. Okay. Call it abuse if you want to. I feel like I turned out decent. Now I can't say normal because I'm in therapy, but I feel like I still kind of turned out a little decent. But I don't know, because sometimes y'all, when I know a lot of y'all feel some type of way about that, but when you look at yourself in adulthood and then you look at the people that you grew up with that didn't have that type of authority or consequences or anything like that, you'll really start to see how drastic your life is versus your friend's life, and how their life tends to be a mess and how your life tends to be way more structured. So you may get upset at your parents, and listen, I don't feel like it was the right thing to do, and in some cases I can get angry about it. But when you really start to look at how your life turned out versus some of your friends, when you get older, and just get a little older, just get a little older, you'll start to appreciate some of the things. I'm not saying all of the things, but some of the things that your parents did. I'm so serious, because I be looking at people, you could tell life is whooping their ass, just whooping their ass. Drugs, alcohol, men coming in and out of their life, in and out of their life, in and out of their life. They have no boundaries. They have a lot of kids. So it's like you can get mad at your parents, and you, in some cases, you should be, right? You should be, because it is abuse. Let's keep it real. However, when you get to a certain age, you're going to start seeing the silver lining in it. Could they have taken a better approach? I 1,000% agree. Yes, they could have. Yes, but they didn't have the resources. A lot of them were escaping their own trauma. My parents were raising me at 23, 24, 25, 26 years. They in their early 20s. So when it comes down to it, yes, I can get mad at my parents, but at the same time, I appreciate them at the same time. That's where I'm at with my journey. So I can get mad, but when I look at some of my girlfriends that I grew up with, and I look at how hard their life is, I look at my parents a lot different, because I used to compare my parents to them all the time. And so now I'm looking at my life, I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So I'm not condoning abuse of any kind. I'm saying that when you go through childhood trauma like that, and you actually do the healing, you try to work on your relationships, you have to set boundaries with your parents, you go through the whole process, right? You'll actually start to appreciate some of the things that they did. Maybe not all of them, but some of them you will start to appreciate. But it's going to take some maturity. It's going to take some maturity, and it's going to take some time, and it's going to take some healing. And I can't speak for everybody, because some parents were worse than mine. Some mothers were worse than mine. Some fathers were worse than mine. So I can't speak for everybody. Everybody's situation is going to be different. I'm talking about me.
Let me read it one more time. Listen, just stay with me. Don't get distracted. Stay with me. Listen, if a man and a wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same chance as children raised by just their fathers. The husband and wife raise their kid. The chance of this kid going to jail is the same as just the father raising his kids. The problem is the single mother without a father in the picture that can sit there and discipline the kids, give them hope, values, principles, all the other stuff. We play different roles. This is statistic. If somebody's watching and saying, oh my God, you're discounting women, you're discounting mothers, go get upset at the stats, not at me. This is stats. You can't get upset at 3 times 3 is 9. That's stats. I'm giving you stats that's being given to us by the government because they have access to these stats. This is disturbing. Let me continue. Girls with no fathers have lower self-esteem. We can lower crime, lower mental issues, help the economy, lower suicide rates, and decrease homelessness by bringing back the family nucleus. There are things that my wife can do as a mother that I can't do. There's things she can bring that I can't bring, but there are things I can do that she can't do. So now you may say, well, Pat, I agree. I do agree. We can lower this. But then how come it's not happening? And here's the other question. Who's to blame? Who do we blame with this? Now you may be listening to this saying, well, it's got to be the husband and wife's fault. It's got to be the man and the woman's fault. Fine. How come it's not the same ratios around the world? Why is U.S. fatherlessness at 23%? Everywhere else is 7% average. So is it really the mom and dad? So how about the mom and dad in India? How about the mom and dad in China? How about the mom and dad in Germany? How about the mom and dad in Brazil? How about the mom and dad in other places? Why are we at 23%? How did this happen? Was it like this before? Is it an evolution? Is it mainstream media? Is it Hollywood? Is it the fact that parents are afraid of parenting because everybody is so much involved? You can't do that to your kid. You can't do this to your kid. You can't discipline your kid like that. Whose fault is it? It's someone's fault.
You guys, I think the reason why the stats are showing that it is better for fathers to be single and raise their children is because men can take on more than a woman can. A woman, and when she's a single mother, she's in full-blown survival mode. Everything is a trauma response for her. And that's what's so disgusting about men who speak negatively on single mothers. It's disgusting. You're judging your mother when she was in survival mode, doing the best that she could for her children. That's what you're doing. You're not judging her from a place where, you know, it's fair game. She has a man backing her and supporting her. She has a village, right? Helping her, her parents. You're not judging her based off of all of those things. You're literally judging a woman who is strictly in survival mode, taking care of her children. She was left to be the default parent. So I can 1,000% agree that men, single fathers, are better at raising children. So why don't they raise them? That's the question. Why don't men take on that role? Why don't we have more single fathers than single mothers if this is the statistic out here that men do a better job when it comes to raising children single? I don't get that. I don't get that. I've seen men abandon their responsibilities. I've seen men have a baby with a woman, remarry, and don't even show up for the kid. Don't even ask about the kid. Don't even say, hey, come send the kid to come live with me. That's not the norm. Those are very unique and special cases. I'm not saying that those situations don't happen. I'm saying it's not the majority. So I don't get that. I don't know why there are men on the internet judging single mothers for being in survival mode. That it just doesn't make sense. Everything they do, every little thing they do is a trauma response, period. Trauma. That's all it is. Responding to her trauma that she's currently going through with her children or her child.
Is it the fact that, hey, you know, we can't really bring church and schools and pray and all this stuff? I don't know. Maybe that's not something you agree with. Maybe it is. Maybe we need those values and principles. But it's somebody's fault in America that this is happening. This is purely a systemic issue that we're having. This cannot be like in, no, it's really the community, it's the parents, it's the culture, it's all this other stuff. No, standards are standards. We're sitting there not educating. No, it's not a big deal. Go ahead and do that. Oh, it's not a big deal. Go ahead and do that. Oh, it's not a big deal. Go ahead and do that. No, standards have dropped and the numbers are showing. If we judged a country based.
Can we talk about the culture? Because a lot of people are saying, when it comes to the Black community, do you think that's something that the Black community can be responsible for? Hell no. Hell no. This is why I don't know why Black women are having children. Hell no. No. I told y'all that the main reason why I don't want to birth a Black son, it don't got nothing to do with the fact that he will be a Black man. The reason is because I don't want him to be subjected to the culture. I don't want my daughter to be subjected to Black culture. It's toxic. I keep telling y'all that. No. And if you feel like you over here, you about to birth a baby and you can't leave it with a father because you feel like he's going to influence the child or discipline or harm the child, why the hell did you have a baby by him? Let's talk about that. Why did you lay down and have a baby by a man that you can't leave, and you can't even leave the child alone with that man? Why did you birth the baby? And this is what has to stop, y'all. It has to stop, because if this is what it means to break a cycle. My grace, it has expired. You know now. So, like I said, if you get pregnant today, you need to think long and hard about what you're doing, because you already know what the culture is. You already know what the outcome gonna be. It is laid out for you. So many women have told you, so many women have had put their own shame and embarrassment aside to tell you the truth. If you don't take heed to what they saying, it's on you. So if you feel like you cannot leave this child with this man and he cannot care for this child by himself, why are you birthing his offspring? Why? It does not make sense. So y'all can get mad all day, but y'all know how the culture is. I told y'all, when it comes to raising a Black son, he's going to be subjected to pimp culture, gang violence, gang affiliations, and things like that, drugs, rap music, hip hop. I don't want to raise a son in this culture. Strippers, all of that, 304. I don't want it. Then if I have a Black daughter, what is she going to be subjected to? Strip culture, twerking, drugs, rappers, hip hop, being promiscuous online. I personally don't want my child out here on the internet. That's just my choice. I don't want that. So I'm thinking long and hard. Black culture has been very degrading towards women. Doesn't matter. Women, they disrespect Black women the most, and then just know it doesn't get better after that. It doesn't. So why would I want to bring children into this culture? Why? It's not healthy. And then the innocence of a child is so hard to protect their innocence, because I just got done seeing a 6-year-old boy deal with SA on a school bus from another student. 6 years old. Now I'm thinking to myself, right here in Houston, I'm thinking to myself, where in the hell did this other kid that was on the bus with this student, where did they even get that from? How do they even know anything about sex? How? Is it the music that they're listening to when they go home? Is it that they're getting on these iPads that their parents is just giving them? And that's the thing. You can't protect your child from everything and everyone. 6 years old? Who you think I'm going to work thinking, yeah, somebody on the school bus probably gonna touch my child. He's 6. It was another student, 6 years old, y'all. So no, like y'all making birthing Black kids about aesthetics and genes. And you know what? I used to think like that. But when you look at the meat and the potatoes of the Black community, it's dysfunctional and it's toxic. And it's not getting better. It would be different if we had people in the community trying to change it. But no, it seems like the dysfunction is growing. We can start with Blueface and Rock. That's a mess. Why are they receiving support and fans is beyond me. But one thing the Black community loves is supporting toxicity. So why in the hell would I want to birth children in this culture? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I don't. It needs to stop. So if we can't be the change, right? You gonna birth and repeat? Because it always starts with us. If you don't like what I'm saying, change your ways. It's simple. Change your ways. If you have an issue with what I'm saying, change your ways, because change starts with us. It doesn't start with children, it starts with us. So if we can't make the changes with us, why birth children into it? It just does not make sense to me. It does not. So, and then you got to worry about so much now. Like you have to, not only is it expensive to raise kids, not only is it expensive, but it's like you have to try to protect them from damn near everything. You don't know what they're watching half the time. You don't know what they're being exposed to. Kids are curious. It's a lot, y'all. And I think people need to get real about children. It's not a walk in the park. It's not. You got so much that you got to be worried about, so much that you have to be concerned about. So much. So much. Like he's holding up this phone. I mean, it's like, damn, I didn't have my first cell phone until I would say 7th grade. And that was early for me. But the only reason why I had a cell phone was because I was traveling with basketball. So my parents gave me a cell phone. But every night I had to put my cell phone on my parents' dresser. I couldn't take my cell phone back to my room. But now these kids can they can take their phone to their room, to their bathroom. You don't know what they watching, what they being exposed to, nothing. So it's a different ball game now when it comes to having kids. You can try to protect them from everything, but they can look at their friend's phone or their friend's iPad or get a hold of their older siblings' iPad and see some stuff. So it's a mess. Think long and hard about raising children. It is not a walk in the park, especially today with technology, internet, social media. These kids have no identity because of social media. It's harder for them to find themselves. They tend to be more depressed now in high school, in middle school, and that didn't used to be the case. Kids could be kids. It's almost like kids can't even be kids now. There are 16-year-olds wearing lace fronts and full face caked makeup to prom, y'all. To prom. Kids are not able to be kids anymore. Kids, it's crazy. Like it's too much. And then a lot of these TikTok pages and Instagram pages with people putting their kids on the internet, allowing grown men to follow their kids' pages, knowing. Just come on, y'all. I've seen some sick stuff on TikTok when it comes to children and TikTok and grown men following them and leaving weird comments and stuff. I know some of y'all have seen it. It's a mess, y'all. We live in some scary times. Having kids is not a walk in the park. You better think long and hard about it. It look cute. Don't get me wrong. I love how babies smell. I think babies look cute and adorable. I love my niece. I do. But I fear for her life. I do, because there's so much going on.
Based on how many kids are being raised by fatherless homes that's producing crimes at the levels that we're getting, sex during teenage pregnancy, abortion, suicide, incarceration. Maybe we ought to look at this. Maybe this is very important. Maybe our educational system sucks. Maybe. Kids spend more time around teachers than they do around their parents. Maybe. Who do we blame? The responsibility has to lie on the nation. Maybe we're either too much involved or we're not selling. Take your time to get married. Take your time before you have sex with someone. Take your time before you get pregnant. Take your time before you have a baby. Protect yourself. Stay home. Do not just go out there and have unprotected sex. Maybe we're not talking about this kind of stuff. Maybe we are, maybe we're not. The stat says we're not selling it in the right way, and we're paying a price for it. If you're in a community that crime is high, hello, you're feeling it. That's the stance. So the next time you see a father that takes their job as a father seriously, you can actually say, you know how we see somebody in military uniform? Guess what you say? Hey, thank you for your service. What do you mean? Hey, man, stats, 23% fatherlessness. And you're there with your kids. Thank you for your service. Being a father is tough. Good for you guys, husband and wife, trying to make this work. Marriage is tough. Salute. You make my life better and safer by raising good kids. Salute to you. Maybe we ought to give those awards. Maybe we need to kind of recognize Father of the Year award, a bigger deal. Man, if I ran a state or a country, we would be recognizing certain behavior and turning great fathers and mothers into heroes.
This is my thing. This is what I don't agree with. Why do these men feel like they need to be praised for doing what they're supposed to be doing? I think it's weird. Now, listen. We have Mother's Day. We have Father's Day. Right? I think that's enough, right? I think that's enough. I mean, of course, I love my parents. I call them, I check up on them. I do jokingly, joke with my dad about how I'll put him in a nursing home and he'll be on a strict diet and routine. I joke with him about that. But one thing my dad did do was he showed up for his kids. He wasn't always doing it in the correct manner, but he did show up for his kids and he was consistent. So me and my brothers, we joke about shoving him in a nursing home and, being mean and cruel to him, but we wouldn't do him like that. We wouldn't. My mother, I love my mother to death. And I show appreciation to them. But do men need to be coddled for being fathers? No, they don't. They don't. They're grown ass men. And what I'm sick of here in the United States is how y'all coddle these men. They're grown ass men. They're not kids. They're out here making babies. Y'all got to stop coddling them. It's like, goddamn, they got to get cookies and treats and rewards for a job well done. Like, what? That's why they act so soft now. They whining and crying. And I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing it, y'all. I'm tired of seeing it. Me and my brothers were not raised like that. And so because my brothers were not raised like that, they don't be whining and complaining and all of that. They go get it done because it has to get done. That's how they were raised. That's how we were all raised. So it's like my brothers, it's like when it comes to their masculinity, I don't hear them bitch, complain, and have attitude about going to work and doing what they supposed to be doing. But as soon as I step outside of my community, right, my family, and then I bump into some of these men out here, that's all they do. Bitch, complain about how they got to go to work. Bitch, complain about how they got to go pay this. You are a man. What are we doing? You knew this day was going to come. If you did not know, you should have known that this day was going to come, that you were going to grow up and you were going to be required to pay bills. If you laid down and you created a family, you were surely going to pay bills. Why are y'all acting just so delusional? Like you don't know what's going on. If you didn't want to if you didn't want to pay bills, why are you out here having kids? It'd be the one with the kids, the most kids that want to complain. I'm like, so why you lay up and have kids? No, I rarely see women complain. I see men whine and bitch and whine and bitch and whine and bitch. And it's just like, so you think I want to go to work? You think I want to keep paying these bills? You think that's what I want to keep doing? God, it's annoying. I'm like, my dad, he made it very clear. He said, you better think twice before you have kids because you're going to be paying bills until you die. That's what he would say. Just being honest about it. Like, it's real. So as soon as you lay down, and you think you're doing something. This is what my dad used to say. You think you're doing something. Just know them bills gonna be waiting for you. That's what he said. He said just like that. So I don't know why people are like, I just didn't know. What do you mean? This is why I don't understand why broke people have sex. If you broke and you having sex, That don't make no sense to me. Because you participating in an activity that costs. That's what you're doing. You're participating in an activity that costs. So if you out here having sex broke, that don't make no damn sense to me. Broke people shouldn't be having sex. Broke people, male and female, broke people should not be having sex. So it don't matter if it's an abortion. Abortion costs. Abortions are not free. So you are participating in an activity that you cannot afford. Why are you having sex? It don't make no sense. So I don't get that, y'all. Broke people having sex should not be out here having sex. If you cannot afford your bills, if you cannot put your bills on auto pay, you can't afford kids. You cannot. You cannot. And it is what it is. And this is why more people are not having kids. The cost of living is going up. Some of us are just going to opt out altogether because the reality is we can't afford kids. Kids cost a lot of money. I'm tired of seeing these kids that are being dropped off at these daycares and stuff like that getting abused. They're getting abused while the mother is at work, or the father is at work, or the parents are at work, and the parents can't even afford to send their children to a better facility while they're at work. That's sad. Like, so I'm thinking long and hard about kids. A man cannot weaponize me not having kids against me because I know the truth about it. You got so much you have to worry about. Insurance, food, diapers, school, daycare. Daycare alone, that's rent. That's rent. Especially when you want to send them to a decent daycare where they're going to be looked after in a way that has compassion, patience. Kids need a lot of that. So I just, no. Broke people should not be having sex. I'm sorry. It just don't make sense. It don't make sense. And women, you got to stop having sex by broke men. If you know he ain't got no money, he asking you for some money, why would you go and have his kids? If you know he ain't hold down no job, he don't like to work, he inconsistent, why are you having his children? Why are you spreading your legs? It does not make any sense to me. Because one thing that I know for sure is as soon as you spread your legs, he better have health care insurance. A lot of these men don't even have health care insurance. So it don't make sense, y'all. It don't. And women, yes, I'm going to hold you accountable. Yes, I am. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you have a choice in the situation. If you didn't have a choice in the situation, I guess we wouldn't be here talking about accountability, but you have a choice in the situation. So because you have a choice in the situation, you are just as liable. So when you spreading them legs, sis, you trying to get your freak on, and listen, Yanni, I likes to get my freak on as well. But one thing I'm not about to do is ruin my future just to get my freak on. It ain't worth it. It's not worth it. It's not. I'm not about to ruin my future plans. I shouldn't say ruin my future plans, because we all know plans change when children come in the picture. So children don't ruin your life, but they do change your future plans. And so that's what you have to be concerned about. You cannot be naive about that. So no, no. No, they can say whatever they want to say. Broke people don't need to be having kids. Do you not understand that there's a shift that's happening? That low-income families are now becoming homeless? Do you think you should bring children into a situation like that? An innocent child? Because I just watched Lovely T's YouTube video about how a lot of these landlords are no longer accepting Section 8 vouchers. They're no longer accepting them. And the reason, let's talk about it. Let's talk about why they're no longer accepting those vouchers. Well, the pandemic, that was the start of it. You remember when we were getting those stimulus checks and people were talking about how they not going to pay their rent? Because they wanted to mooch off the pandemic and mooch off the stimulus check and get over on their apartment people, the apartment complex. Well, all of that is coming back to bite us in the ass, sis. So that's why there's this housing crisis. Yep, that's why. Because a lot of the landlords either got bought out by a corporation because the landlord couldn't afford the property anymore, because some of the tenants didn't want to pay their rent because they thought it was a great idea to just leave it up to the landlord to foot the bill, which put them under. So if you want to be mad, if you want to be mad at somebody, you need to look at some of your peers and some of the citizens out here that were simply refusing, knowing that they had it but didn't pay it, to pay their landlord because they felt like, oh, I can get away with this. You know, the PPP loan people, them people that was like, oh, let me take advantage of this situation. I'm not going to pay my rent. Well, it has backfired. And so now there is a whole housing crisis. It's really sad. It's really, really sad. It's really sad. And so now that there's a whole housing crisis, they need tenants that are going to pay the rent, right? Some of these landlords have just completely opted out, especially in Georgia, Atlanta. That's where it's really hitting hard. Atlanta, the housing crisis in Atlanta is getting hit the hardest. So I don't know, y'all. Like, listen, I don't think you should bring kids in low poverty if you know you're not in a situation where you're making a decent amount of money. With this shift that's happening, I just don't think it's a good idea. Eggs is like what, $12 in New York, $12.99 in New York. You got to start thinking logical. Like, we're not thinking emotional about this. Genocide, like, that's crazy. But are y'all looking at the economy? Did y'all watch the State of the Union last night? Come on. Like, there's a lot going on. And then, I see people on TikTok getting excited because of what Joe said. I said, Joe up there just doing what he's supposed to be doing. Feeding you whatever you want to hear. He been in office how long? You think things are getting better, or are they getting worse? So no, people don't even watch the news. Think twice about having kids, y'all, especially right now. It ain't no walk in the park. It was never a walk in the park, but just know that it's getting muddy. Okay? Because it's a mess.
Into heroes, because God knows their job is hard. Very hard. Not, making their job harder, and not recognizing the guys that are doing a good job, just kind of winging it, which is the way we're doing it right now. Stats don't favor us. We got some work to do. This is an area, well, I will very comfortably say America's got a lot of work to do. We've stepped away from values and principles, and we're kind of winging it. Anyways, and no one masters parenting, and none of us know if we're going to be great parents or not for about 40 years until our kids are 40 years old. By the time you know you're a great parent, you're probably not alive, because your grandkids will validate that you were a good parent. So you're never going to know whether you were a grandparent or not. But I made a video from all the different things I've learned and what I apply in my life about parenting called How to Raise Successful Kids. If you've never seen it, click here to watch that video. Shout out to those of you guys that take your job as a father very seriously. Take care, everybody.
Man, thank you guys for the super chats. I'm just going to put them on the screen. You guys, and thank you, Erica, for the super chat. I really think we're going backwards. Even if you have kids and you don't have a village, it's going to be hard moving forward. It's going to be hard. It's going to be extremely hard. I really think that you have to have good grandparents, good aunties and uncles. You need a family. You do. Because if you don't have a close family, a good family, I would not have kids at all. I'm telling you, y'all, I'm so serious. I would not have kids at all. I would not. You don't have a good set of grandparents. It's gonna take a village now, because with everything getting expensive and with everything that's going on in the world, you need a village. Doing this alone is insane. Like, even if you're a father and you're a single father, you still need a village in today's world. So y'all, I don't recommend it. Even if you're married and you're thinking about having kids, you need to look long and hard at your village. At your village. Those same people that went to your wedding and was giving you all the congratulations and things like that, they still around? You know, are they still around? Are they still, you know, have you been able to go to them and get support still? It's like, you need to get serious about it, because where we're headed as a society, it's like, you need that. With that village, it has to come back. That village, it has to come back. Everyone wants to talk about the nuclear family. And yeah, I can agree with that. But the village has to come back with the nuclear family. It can't just be the nuclear family. That's out. That is out. But I also wanted to talk about fathers being in the home, but not being fathers, because that's a thing too. So I wanted to bring on this girl that I stumbled across, and in some cases I could relate to with what she had to say. So let's go ahead and get into this. I'm gonna keep posting your super chats on the screen, you guys, so we can get some shine.
Bye-bye.
When I was in middle school and high school, I was very jealous when my friends would say things like, well, my dad isn't around. He's a deadbeat. He don't live with me. And I'd be like, dang, I'm jealous of you. And they'd be like, why? And I would say, because my dad's a deadbeat, but I had to live with him. I have to see him every single day, and I don't even want to. Like, he's proven to us he hates us. He doesn't like me and my siblings. He doesn't like my mom. He's cheating. He's being abusive emotionally, physically, verbally. The things that we grew up seeing was insane, and it was all his fault. And I kept telling myself, at least your deadbeat father was able to leave. He didn't stay in your face and torture you. On the other hand, for me and my family, my dad stayed and was being a garbage parent, a garbage husband the entire time. I had to go on trips with that man. There was things that happened, even coming from his side of the family, that he knew about and he ignored. He would talk mess about his own children to his family members and anyone on Facebook. People that we dated. He would go out to dinner with them when that person we dated cheated on us or was abusive. He would ask them to go go out to dinner. He'd pay for it. I would think a real dad, if your daughter is dating someone and they cheated on her or put her through a lot of emotional turmoil, you would protect them. But instead, you went out to dinner with them, and it didn't happen once, twice, 3 times. He's done it multiple times. He hates his children even to this day. And so I used to tell my friends back then, I'm like, at least your dad is not doing that. I'm being tortured every day seeing this. My mom, me and my siblings having to see that every single day. And the fact is that I'm a grown woman now. You know, me and my mom and my siblings, we all dipped out that house. When I was like almost 18, we dipped. We had to leave because he wasn't leaving. My mom said, why are you here? If you don't want to be a good husband or a good parent to your children, why are you living here? And his mindset was, well, I'm physically here, so it's fine. No, being a dad is not about you being physically there. It's about you being mentally there, emotionally there, supporting them through everything in their life. But he didn't do that. And so we had to leave. And I don't feel bad. You shouldn't have been torturing us our whole time growing up, because now you have no one. And it should stay that way. After everything you did to us, you don't deserve nothing. I was going to talk about this tomorrow. It says literally, and what makes me so angry, dang, I can't.
So you guys, I just wanted to say that sometimes a man being in the house is not always the answer. Okay? It's not. And that's just me being 1,000% real with you. If the man is going to be there and be abusive, I don't think it's healthy for a man to be in the home. So we need to really get more particular about men being in the home. Like if men are not going to be in the home and be committed to his family, then what's the purpose of him being there? If he's not going to be emotionally available, if he's not going to be a leader of his home, what is the purpose of him being there? If he's going to add more conflict, what is the purpose of him being there? If he's not going to help out with his children, if he's just going to dump the load on the woman, what is the purpose of him being in the home? So what I would like to see is more fathers in the home, but more fathers being active fathers in the home. And I don't think men know what that looks like. I really don't. I don't think they really truly knows what it looks like. They think going to work and coming home, that's all they got to do. They don't believe in picking up daily. They don't believe in maybe taking their kids to school or picking them up from school, getting them dressed and ready for school, getting them undressed and ready for bed, maybe making their dinner. Like I said, doing their hair. I don't think doing hair should just be a woman's job anymore. I don't. I think it takes two. I feel like the only way, if father's going back in the home, it truly, truly needs to be partnership. You give 100%, he gives 100%. But if he gonna be in there in the house half-assing, we can do without you, sir. And see, a lot of men don't want to acknowledge that because you become a burden to the whole household. You just heard the girl. You become a burden. So some of these men don't know they place in a home because they grew up without a father, they never saw it, or they simply don't want to be there. Some men resent you after they figure out, after the honeymoon phase of the marriage is over with, after the honeymoon phase of having children and when they're cute and cuddly is over with, then all of a sudden they start to resent you for why they even have a family. So I don't know, y'all. I would never pressure no man into having kids. I would never pressure no man into marrying you, because I'm telling you, they will grow to resent you. If times get hard, their finances look funny, I just would not do it. You're not compatible. Move on. Just go ahead and move on. So that's why most homes are single moms. I could agree with that, y'all. I actually could agree with that. I wish there could be some statistics backing up my opinion, but yeah, I agree with that. I don't think men understand the work that goes into running a home with children. They really think it's come home from work, sit on the couch, watch TV, and watch their kids for a few hours, and then they take themselves to bed and don't even put their kids to bed. Like, I really don't think they understand the energy and the amount of work and structure and routine that goes into raising kids. So I think these are real conversations you need to start having with men. I've met the last two men that I dated. They wanted kids really bad, and I would ask them questions like, well, what do you think your role in the house would be if we were to have kids? And some of their responses just wasn't living up to my standards, and I'm like, And then another thing is when men don't talk about how they want to raise the kids that they claim they want to have. So when you're in a situation when you're vetting, you ask men about kids, and all they want to talk about is how the baby will look, or what the baby could look like, and like the cute stuff. They don't ever talk about, like, well, how do you want to raise a child? How would you discipline a child? They never want to talk about the real stuff. They only want to talk about the cute stuff, the shallow stuff. That's a red flag. Because a man that really want to have kids, he really want to run his household, he knows how that looks and he knows how he wants to discipline his children, because it's more than just the cute stuff. Like, it's disciplining kids, it's kids having attitudes, it's kids throwing tantrums, it's kids having a mind of their own, it's kids having personalities. If they not talking about it like that, no ma'am, nope, wouldn't do it. But let's continue, because she's responding to some of her comments that she got.
It makes me so much angrier is, why won't my mom just leave? And so I want to talk about this because I think a lot of children, when they're going through this situation with having a father, specifically a situation where your father is being a narcissist, you get upset with your mom. Like, why is your mom, like, you're like, why is my mom not leaving? As a child, I was always emotionally intelligent, so I understood why. But I think a lot of children, you don't understand it, you don't get it. And I will say this: when you're in a abusive relationship, the mental destruction that they did is so bad, you don't even love yourself. You don't care about yourself. That's why you're staying. And I actually had this conversation with my mom, and she told me that. She was like, yeah, you know, I was so messed up in the head. And also having another thing, if your parent had a bad example of relationships, like if their parent was in a bad relationship or whatever, it will affect them. Trauma passes down. So if your mom has seen, you know, people in her family staying with a person that's terrible for them, they're going to do this. They're going to repeat the same thing until they break the cycle. And I think breaking the cycle can start with you. You know, you're not staying. If somebody trying you, somebody doing crazy stuff, you leave. But I think definitely, I know it's hard, but have more sympathy for your mom, because getting out of a abusive relationship is a lot harder than you think. When we left, my father followed my mom, found out where our new house was, and came up to the front door and started screaming and yelling while the realtor was inside the house with my mom. And the realtor had to tell him to leave. So you also have to understand, even though you leave, it doesn't get better for a long time. It doesn't get better, but it will. So be patient with her, be there for her, talk to her about how you feel, definitely. And just trust me, one day she'll leave. And when she does, get prepared, because especially men like that, they're narcissists. They hate being rejected, and they hate when people see who they really are and their mask falls apart and they lose the people that they were controlling the whole time. So just know that it's not all peaches and rainbows once you leave. It's hard, and they're going to keep coming for you, and especially your mother. So think about that too. I know it's hard. I had those moments, you know, but leaving a abusive relationship is not that easy. Trust me. I just want to tell you, I am proud of you for even coming to that realization. I don't think people get how hard it is to leave a abusive relationship. And I can clearly tell, because there are a lot of Black women in my comments talking about, oh, your mom tolerated this, that, this. Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. Because you sound like you've never been in an abusive relationship, therefore you don't know shit about it. As a child who watched my mother go through that, it was the worst thing ever. But you know what? I also had emotional intelligence and empathy. Y'all out here ain't got no empathy, and you are not emotionally intelligent. So I'm gonna tell you this here. It's not.
And you know what's crazy? The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I feel like the Black community, like I said, is just dysfunctional and toxic. So yes, there were women in the comment section that lacked empathy. You know, it's crazy how women really think. Is it shocking that Black women think leaving an abusive situation would be easy? No, it's not shocking, because Black women are the type to be, their trauma response tends to be unbothered. I'm tough. I can handle it. So it's like, is it really shocking? No, but it's sad that that's what we do to each other. also we tend to do what Black men do to us. We tend to also project that onto each other. So I've seen a lot of Black men who are angry at their mother for staying in an abusive relationship or staying in a toxic relationship, and they blame her for everything that they went through and the things that they experienced with this man that was around at the time, or if it was their father, whatever the case may have been. And it's like, it's so crazy that when it comes to being a Black woman, we never think to give compassion, sympathy, empathy, grace, or understanding, even some reassurance, considering the situation that she was in. So not only do we not give it to one another, but the men oftentimes don't give it either. So I just don't understand why we like to follow in the footsteps of men. Why don't we just go and do our own thing? I just don't get that. It's like there's always this underlying competitive nature when it comes to men and women, particularly Black women and men. And I don't see the purpose. I just don't see the point in that. Because I don't think what Black men do are successful. I mean, look at their statistics, a hot mess. The most unemployed, the least to go to school, the most violent. So I just don't think we should copy what they do. I don't think we should follow what they do. Yeah, they're supposed to be the leaders, but if they're not going to be good leaders, I just don't see the point in following in their footsteps. I just don't. Not collectively at all. No. No, it doesn't make sense. So, and their statistics reflect that.
The mother's fault for why that man is crazy as hell. The fact that I even have to tell y'all that is crazy. And so for this person who commented this, I just want to tell you, it is not your fault that that man is crazy. It is hard to leave abusive relationships. Right now, if you're ready to leave, the process that you have to be thinking right now is how you gonna leave. What's the next steps for you and your children? That's all you need to be thinking about right now. Anyone that's telling you, oh, you should stay with him, or anyone that's telling you, oh, it's your fault, why he's this bad because you just keep staying, fuck them. Don't even listen right now, because they ain't got shit to do with the situation. They don't know nothing about it. I just want to say I'm very proud of you, and you have support. There's so many women who go through exactly what you're going through, and it is the worst thing. It's like one of the worst things you ever have to deal with, but it's not impossible to get away. It's very possible to get away. My mother, we were looking for houses for a long time. We would go out together, maybe after work, or if my dad was at work, we would dip anytime we needed to go look for houses. We finally found our place. And when I tell you, I started packing my stuff in my car and covering it with a whole blanket so he couldn't see what was in my car. We had to be secretive because he was that controlling. He was that crazy. And people don't understand, these abusive men can get so bad that they try to kill you and your family. Have y'all not been seeing on the news how many crazy...
I mean, we see it now, but it seems to be a growing issue. But you guys, I see a lot of times, and it's toxic, y'all. A lot of times I see women who say things like, oh, she's stupid for staying, da, 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 da. And it's just like, you guys, when you are in an abusive relationship, most men tend to be controlling as hell. Okay, they play on your mental health. They play on your psyche. Like, they make you question and second guess yourself. They ruin your self-esteem, because when you second guess yourself, you're not able to give yourself reassurance when it comes to some of your decision making and things like that. So I don't like it when I see women say things like, oh, she dumb, or she's stupid, she this, or she's that. But if you've ever been in an abusive relationship, you know, like the mental turmoil that you tend to go through when you are experiencing abuse like that. So I don't know why women do that. I don't. Because and that's the thing, when it comes to abuse, the first thing that abusers attack is your mind. And how do they attack your mind? They make you feel comfortable. That's how they do it. They make you feel comfortable. They pick up on your weaknesses. They see if you're desperate. They weed out to see if you're gullible, if you're naive, if you are the type to just believe anything or go for anything. They feel you out. But first, they got to get you comfortable. They got to break your shell. And that's how they're able to get in. A lot of times women don't understand that. So these men know, and then these men study you too. The abuser will study you. They will study the hell out of you. They know you like the back of their hand because they use what they know. They use that information to abuse you. So they'll weaponize some trauma that you may have opened up to them about. They'll weaponize some things that you may have expressed to them that is more on the vulnerable side that you don't really tell other people. They may even weaponize some of your deep, dark secrets, you know, and try to blackmail you. You have no idea why this woman may still be in a relationship with this abuser. You have no idea. So telling a woman to leave, that's easy to say from the outside looking in. It's so easy to say. But I do encourage women to leave, but you cannot leave without planning, and you cannot leave without having your stuff together, and you have to leave silently. You can't tell, you know, what you're doing, your plans with just about anyone. You kind of just gotta disappear one day.
The abusive men have been trying to kill their family. That is more common than anything. So of course, when women are leaving, there's fear. These men are crazy. And the women who are enabling their behavior, the women who are telling the mothers that it's their fault, y'all all can go to hell because it's not their fault. So I'm going to say this here. You can do it. You can leave. I don't care what that man been telling you. You can leave. It's not easy, but it's definitely possible. Even if that means you have to go to a women's shelter, I'd rather you do that than stay with that crazy man. Just know you have my full support. And anytime you need to message me, message me. You got this. You got this.
There is no video games throughout.
Okay, y'all. What was I about to say? Oh, I wanted to, that's what I meant to do. I wanted to pull up this TikTok video because, like I said, I stand on what I said about the reason why fatherless homes has become a crisis in America. Let me pull up my receipt. Just give me a sec. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, when it comes to bringing kids into the world, we got to start thinking it completely through. It's not a walk in the park. It's a lot of work. And while I'm waiting on this to come up, you guys, I honestly don't know how women are out here having sex, y'all. I just don't know how. Like I really do. I really do. You know, I got standards. I got high standards. And so my standards, you know, I got to be comfortable. And I'm not comfortable out here having sex. Like I'm not comfortable out here, not with food going up. There could be a potential food shortage. There's just a lot going on. I really feel like this is the perfect time to refrain from sex, to fast, to get your life together, to budget. You know, all the things that we didn't start off doing when we was quarantined, but we ended up doing because we were able to sit long enough and reflect over our lives. I think that's what we need to go back to doing. I do. I do. My standards are high. I'm like, how can anyone really be out here having sex, women under these conditions? And the reason why I say this is because it doesn't matter. Like passport bros, prime example, they can cross seas, cross nations, enter cultures across the world. But one thing that we all women have in common is if we don't have stability and security and we don't feel safe, we don't want to have sex. We don't want to be with you. And that's what I'm saying. The security blanket for women right now, we don't have one. We don't even know what the future holds. I know some of you guys are probably going back and forth about what you want to do with your life. You know, if you're in your early 20s, mid 20s, you're like, dang, I really don't know what to do with my life because I don't know what the future holds. You know, so much is in the air right now. So much is kind of like up in the air, and we don't know how things are going to fall. So I don't know. Like if men want to have sex, they need to fix the economy. That's where my mind is at. I'm like, y'all want to have sex again? Fix the economy. Fix it. Fix these food prices. Fix these systems that keep crashing and inconveniencing people. Fix it. I mean, that's how I see it, y'all. Y'all gotta learn how to put these men to work. That's why they be bitching and complaining. They don't feel like men no more. Well, get them to work. Close your legs. If you close your legs, they'll get to work real quick. You don't gotta say much. But no, I'm so serious. They need to fix these housing prices. I mean, how a woman like myself, it's like I can't, you know, be opening up myself in these conditions. It's too much, y'all. I'm just like, I don't know about none of this. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable. Okay, so here it is. Let me go ahead and play this video. I found it. It finally loaded. Because I'm telling you, the reason why this is turned into a crisis, I'm telling you, these men, they've been spreading their seeds far out here. Far. Yeah, like these rental increases and stuff. I don't feel safe. I'm gonna use my feminine energy. I don't feel safe. I really don't, though.
Divorce rates, you know, because I'm Salam alaikum TikTok. Good evening, it's Angry Biracial. You know how I do. I'm back with another one. Yo, I'm kind of tired today. This is my only video that I'm doing today. But I had to look up interracial divorce rates, you know, because all on my comment section, you know, all across the internet, on Facebook, on social media, on YouTube, you got black men bashing black women. You got black men saying that black women are undesirable. You're saying that, but no one wants, black men are saying that no one wants to marry black women. They're saying black women are too masculine, they're too aggressive. Black women don't know how to be submissive. Black women is all this other stuff. Yet when a white man and a black woman get married, they have the least likely divorce rate out of every other couple. They have the highest success rate. Yet when a black man and a white woman get married, they're 200% more likely to get divorced. They have the highest divorce rate out of everybody. 200% more likely to get divorced. So that goes to show that the black woman was never the problem. The problem was always the black man. You know, black men are quoting Kevin Samuel stats saying, yeah, well, black women leave 80% of the time. Yeah, black women leave black men 80% of the time. Because black men are the problem. Black women aren't leaving white men 80% of the time. They are 44% less likely to get married. So this stat shows me that whenever a black man marries a white woman who looks like a Buffalo Soldier, looks like a linebacker, hood, they're going to get divorced. That white woman's going to be a baby mama. That white woman's going to be an ex-wife. That white woman's going to end up taking care of kids by herself and being a single mother. Because black men destroy homes wherever they go. No matter what race they go, they destroy homes. Black women, on the other hand, when they get with a man from another race that's worthy, their marriage is successful. They're happy. They're going through the life with happiness. You know, they're raising their kids together. Beautiful biracial kids like your boy here together. Black men, you can't say the same. So, black men, you should keep your mouth shut and show some respect to black women, because they're the ones living successfully without you. It seems like every other race that black men touch, they destroy. So every other race is better without black men interference. I said what I said. Don't like it? Tell your mama. Salam alaikum, TikTok. Good evening. It's Angry Biracial. You know how I do. I'm back with.
So you guys, here are the divorce rates when it comes to interracial dating. And as you can see, this is a black man and a white woman. Statistically, they are 200% more likely, 200% more likely to divorce. Now, if I was a Katie, if I was an Amanda, like if I was white, that's an easy bag. That's an easy, because you know how they put things past you when you white. That's an easy bag. Like if I was like a 304 and I was white, oh my God, 200%. Y'all, it says 200% to most likely divorce. Crazy. Now, when white women are with white men, they are 59% more likely. That's crazy. That's crazy. Then I guess when the black, okay, hold on, because it's saying it's so confusing. Like they didn't put the I'm assuming like black, it's if it's black, then it's a black person. So and yellow is white. I'm assuming. I wonder where he got this from. He didn't say. He didn't say on the side. But yeah, and then 59% more likely to divorce when it's a white man and a white woman. And then for interracial divorces for black women, it's 4% more likely. 4%. 304, y'all, is city girl culture, being emotionally unavailable. That's what I call it. Women being emotionally unavailable. Women doing what men do. Is it Asian? Asian is for yellow? Okay. I'm like, y'all, I'm trying to figure it out. Okay. So Asian is for you. So let me reread that stat then. Let me go back. So it says here, oh, okay. So, wow, that's a plot twist. So when a Asian is with a white woman, they are 59% more likely to divorce. That's crazy. Then when it's a white man with a black woman, it's 44% less likely for them to divorce. And then when it is a white man with an Asian, it's 4% more likely to divorce. Oh, that's crazy, y'all. That's crazy. I mean, Golden Pisces. I mean, I think we all thinking that, right, girl? So we know who the problems are. It's really looking like it's the Karens of the world, and it's the passport bros of the world. Do you think any of these women in these foreign countries look at these statistics? Because, girl, that's a mess. That is a mess. But you know what is so crazy? White men, no, Black men and white men tend to act the same. I told y'all they act alike. I keep telling y'all they act alike. It's not shocking that they romantically find interest in each other. It's not shocking anymore. I used to be like, why, how? Now I'm like, well, they socially are seen the same. They socially are treated the same in some ways. Like they have a lot in common when you think about it. They have a lot in common. And that's why they tend to be super entitled, coddled, and just they feel like they have this inflated way of viewing themselves and how they should be treated. And yeah, like I don't know, it's weird. It's very strange. So that's all. I just wanted to show y'all these statistics because of course we're going to be blamed for fatherless homes, but statistics don't lie, y'all. They don't lie. So I had to play this video towards the end. Please give the video a thumbs up. I would really, truly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Let me know what you guys would like for me to react to, talk about, any select topic that you want me to talk about or cover. Please don't request Blue and Rock, Blueface in Rock, please. I don't want to talk about them. I don't want to talk about that situation. I really don't, because I don't even know where to start. But all I know is I know I better see women out here holding Rock accountable for her behavior, in her ways, in her actions, because it's a hot mess. I see women coddling her, and I'm just like, why are y'all coddling her? It's like the more y'all coddle her, the worse her behavior gets. She has no manners. She's rude. So it's not shocking that she got with a man like Blueface at all. They seem to be on the same vibration. So I don't know. Please don't request that one. Request something else. You guys enjoy the rest of y'all's night, and I'll see you in my next one.